Oh, okay. This is an overview of what I'm going to talk about the next few videos that I will post. I don't want to be gay. I refuse to be gay, and I refuse to participate in homosexuality. The reason behind saying those words, I was in the United States Army. I participated in a lot of stuff that I don't even understand. But that I don't even understand. But let me give you an overview or a summary of why I'm saying I don't want to be gay. I'm here in my car, hearing voices through the ventilations and everywhere else, and there's a lot of voices that's going through my head. There's a lot of talking that I don't understand. I'm not a part of a chain. I've never been a part of a chain. I don't participate in any homosexual activities to be in a chain. So the only reason for all those voices to be happening is because of what happened in the military. I was sexually assaulted. But to summarize everything, let me start by saying that since I was a child, I was able to see things. I was able to turn my body into red or blue. My own mother, supposedly the woman, she's not my mother. She used to turn and make her body big, like literally big. And it's really weird because as a child I'm looking at all this stuff happening and I can't even understand it. And I know all the homosexual people out there understand what I'm talking about. When I was a child, I was molested multiple times by my family and the community, and even to the extent where my family was facilitating a homosexual environment for me to participate in sexual acts with other kids. Even my mother went to the extent of encouraging me to participate. By a certain age, my mom sexually assaulted me, took my dick and put it in her pussy. The only reason I remember that because when I was about 1 or 2 years old, that's when my eyes opened to the world. That's when I start. That's my earliest memories. I was 1 or 2 or 3 years old. We just came from southern Sudan to northern Sudan, and we were living with my uncle. So I was like about 1 or 2, maybe 3 top. Actually 2, because by the time I was 3, there's just a lot of stuff happened, and I was in kindergarten and a lot of stuff like that. My mom sexually assaulted me, and then she continued to try to put me over her pussy, trying to put my dick over her pussy. When I was a child, I've always resisted by pushing her away and running. There's a lot of activities that was going on around me. There was a lot of people that coming from the top bottom, and a lot of people are turning into dogs. They dogs, and they like talk. It's kind of weird, you know what I mean? Moving forward, when I was around 5 or 6 years old, I met a kid named Juma Agueta. I heard of him in my early years, and I heard of his relationship with Regina Nathaniel, and I didn't understand what was going on with that. Moving forward, I finally got the opportunity to actually talk to him when I was about 9.5, 10 years old in Egypt, in Cairo. At that time, they were talking about things that I'm going through right now. I'm going through it without knowing it. They're already older, at an older age. They look like right now. like how they look right now, that's how they were looking at when I was 10 years old, 9.5, 10. And I seen them because every time like things are changing around me, like people disappearing and appearing. It's a lot of stuff happening. When I was at church in Egypt, there's a lot of stuff that was happening. They were running from the big guys, or there's people in the United States that they were running from, and they were talking about somebody big. But then, to be honest, I really don't understand what was that about. But when I was in in the church, she made herself look so huge and everything, and I was looking at her. This is just a summary. Moving ahead, I stopped, thinking about all those stuff, trying to just focus because I thought I was, paranoid. And I started living my own life, building my life. I love engineering. I love science. I love the wildlife, LOL. I love lions, snakes. I'm a top predator. I am a predator. I am an alpha. I am a male. I met a lot of alphas when I was here in the United States. The eyes actually glow. So I came to the United States. I was in 6th grade, 7th grade, right here at a King Middle School. And gay people, they are telling me that don't be halfway. Why don't you go all the way gay, or just don't be all cute with the females, or don't be so pure with all the females. And I looked at them like, yo, dude, I just like females. But I didn't say anything. I just start talking to the females because I like females. I made a decision when I was 6 years old that I would only fuck with females because of the fucking homosexual environment that I was forced into when I was a child. Moving forward, there was a lot of activities that was going on in at Kennedy Park, downtown Portland, Maine, that I didn't understand. There's so many things that was going on. It's the same people, the same circle of the people. I didn't know that they're a part of a gang, a chain gang. And they feed each other through that chain, and they get to know each other. Even though I am a part of the community, I'm not a part of the community. I just live there. Moving forward through high school, I didn't know that I was already being identified by the Portland Police Department as God child. They knew that I was God child, and I don't even understand what God child means. So I was running around with the hoodlums, with all the niggers, all those niggers kid, They're all selling drugs. I'm the only person that was hanging around to a point I have to participate a little bit. But, I'm living with the niggers, looking like a nigger, and feeling like a nigger, even though I know my own perspective and my lifestyle and everything that I am does not conclude or sum in niggerism. I remember a moment where the cops had to come to the house, or I had a flash that they knocked on the door because they followed the God child to that house. He's doing God work, but he's living in that house. They knocked on the door and they say there's a God kid in the house. And Regina Nathaniel responded by stating that the only gay people live in this house. And I lived in that house as well. And there's no God in this house. They say we followed him to this house. There's a God child living in this house. Regina Nathaniel responded by saying that he doesn't exist. There's no such thing. So they left. And then they followed me to the house, and they came with me and showed that this is the God child we were talking about. And she responded by, he's not God. That's my son Kizito, and he's not a God child, and so forth. And at that moment, we were all glowing red. Like you could see through our bodies and everything. Then they escorted me out. Moving forward, selection night, got duty. These Africans, they do that. Shauna, I'm coming over your house. They like you travel. They do that ghost stuff. They don't need a phone or something to like communicate. They could talk to you or project themselves outside their car or something like that. I don't even understand what happened, but it was selection night. They look like they're fighting. These niggers, they fight, but when they're fighting, whoever's losing is fucking the one who's winning. It it is a game, or it's a gay thing, or it's a faggot thing that I'm trying to understand, but I'm just giving a summation of what I've been through, and then I'm going to talk about one by one, because I hear those words from the ventilation trying to plague me with homosexuality. Because when I was hold up, let me when I was in the military, actually this is a good point where I will talk about the military. Let's move forward to the military. Basic training. It during in processing, if you're a godchild and you don't know it, you will go through basic training, AIT and everything without knowing anything, just the military drills, and that's the only thing that you will know. But everybody else would have a higher understanding of what is going on around you. During basic training, during the selection, they were talking about me and about things that I'm going through. Like, my name is Master War, and they didn't know that about me, and they were talking about it when I was in processing, and whatever needed to happen in process, I finished it there. So that means the only thing that it was waiting for me to happen is for me to wake up, for me to start seeing, for me to be able to control the blue or the red, like light, or to be able to like turn into white, the color white. You know what I mean? Like, there's like those are the only three forms that I've seen, and I've seen other forms, like they trying to make themselves look big or something like that. That was in processing. Basic training. I was with a drill sergeant Reese. She is my platoon drill sergeant. We went into this room to say it was an eye examination room. They put this thing through your eyes and you sit there. And I sat there for the very longest time. And when the machine went up, I looked up. I seen a lot of kids that was looking like they were wearing red, or they look red, like just red. You could see through them, and they were running away. Then the machine came back down, and I looked at it, and then I died in it. And then I woke up again, because I stopped. I woke up. I died multiple times as a child. You could pop out of your body multiple times. I popped out of my own body multiple times, to a point where I started believing in other things, because I see a lot of stuff. That thing came out, and like drill sergeant looked at me directly, and looked at another drill sergeant next to her, and I read her lips, and she said, "Did he just died and came back?" And then she said, "Specials Abdallah, or the PFC Abdallah, go ahead, hurry up." And then I got out, and I forgot everything that was happening in that room. Moving forward to AIT. Everybody knew what was going on. They could all see and do all this lighting shit that I don't understand. They were talking about things that I don't understand at all. Let's move forward to South Korea. Second ID, Indian hit. I was at a Thunder Brigade, or a Fire Brigade, Thunder Brigade, I think. I was with Captain Dania Duncan and Specialist Latanya Kroom. They were talking about things that I didn't even understand before I even was put into the game, or I was given the opportunity to have my own game. Like every Special Forces agent, they have a game that is played within their own body. I have a game within my own body. I could see my body. I could see myself going in my body and out my body. There's a lot of weird stuff that's going on. I could see that. Um, it's a weird experience, actually. Let me just turn the ventilation down because I could hear them. You're not crazy if you hear people talking to the ventilation, because my people do that. They're not my people. They're all niggers. They're special. Their specialty. Jeffrey Warney told me exactly what they do. He's one of the people that do. You know what I mean? I seen a guy turn. He showed up as an animal and became a human being. It is a weird experience, and if you've seen those stuff around you, let me tell you that you are not alone and you are not hallucinating, because I'm way too logical. I went to an extent where scientific lifestyle, my life has a scientific value. Like, if I can't prove it and it's happening, and I know that my whole family are doing it and I could see it, I have to have the evidence, and the evidence is by the age of 33, I will be able to control it. And by age of 33, I will be posting videos that you will be able to see how to control it. Because O'Kane Okat, Joseph Okat brother, the kid that I made, I could open my eyes. They could open my eyes. I made him without knowing. Imelda Agüeta, I created her when I was in Egypt without even knowing. They could force you to create somebody without knowing it. And I can make her without knowing it. I can rattle. When I was in the military, I'm moving forward very fast. I'm just making a summary of what I'm going to talk about. I was sexually assaulted, and Tanya Duncan, before the sexual assault, the whole company was telling me, you are going to get poked, preparing me for getting poked. But before I was even sexually assaulted, I had a PPD test, the TB test, and I failed it. So that means, and I was living in a moldy room, like a black mold. So basically, I had my 100%, and because I already had my 100%, they're going to put me through the homosexual experience by force. And I refused to be gay, because when I was in the military, every time I talked to a girl, they remove the girl and they put a man for me to talk to, and I get away from the man. They keep doing that to a point where I don't even want to hang around with anybody. I stay in my room, I play my video game, and I masturbate throughout my military career. That's what I was doing, to a point where there was this guy, his name is Noel. He's a faggot. Everywhere I go, he's there watching and stalking me. They set me up to go to a jail when I was in the military. I was arrested for a verbal altercation, and I went to court-martial, facing 45 to life for a verbal altercation when I was in the military. And when I fought, I cried like a bitch. I was crying. My life ended for no reason. I mind my own business, because all the gay people around me was talking about, when is he going to be broken? And they will talk. And when I came out of jail, they knew that I was poked. They started doing feminine stuff, and you could see they changed their body and everything to like a woman, running like a woman and stuff like that, and like laughing, and like finally he is broken, because he's an absolute man. He is too tough. He's too aggressive. He is too direct. He is too dominant. Once he get poked, he will bliss, and he'll be feminine, and you will be feminine when you get poked. You will feel feminine, you will feel weak, but if you're a man, you already know those, feeling of a weakness. If you feel weak, you go to your own warm mode, and you live there until you start feeling good again. You start rebuilding yourself as a man, because you don't know what the fuck is going on. I've been going through it all my life. I didn't know that somebody was trying to turn me a faggot, like my mother, Regina Nathaniel, the woman that sexually assaulted me, and other people like Ben Arthur, Tofik Ben Arthur, Jennifer Ben Arthur, like your father, who participated in all this homosexual stuff, that trying to ordain me into homosexuality. You know, every monk or every priest is a faggot. You know that, right? You do understand You do understand that Jesus Christ turned into a woman. You do understand that, right? Muhammad is a faggot. You do understand that, right? He is a woman because he believed in homosexuality. Every Muslim man participate in homosexuality, and you will know that because they all wear that fucking dress. And if you go to Egypt and to those Arab countries, and if you associate with Arabians, and I did, because I have to understand, like I told you, my life is scientific. I have to associate and affiliate with Arabs, with the Muslim. انا عارف اقدر احكي عربي معاهم واقول لهم كلهم خول وكلهم لويطه، وانا عارف هم خول. لحد المره عارف احكي عربي عشان اقول لكم انتم مسلمين انتم خول. That's how they speak Arabic, and I learned Arabic to understand a lot of stuff because there's things that's happening. You know what I mean? I'm a scientist. I love science. So I did my investigation, and I'm still going through it without knowing it. A lot of gay men, or like a lot of faggots, or the people that been through this process, they know going through it without knowing it. And those are the people that are apparently the most powerful ones. And a friend of mine actually tried to open his eyes in front of me, and he couldn't. And I turned red. His name is Fred Ben, and he knows what that means. He knows exactly what that means. He got sexually assaulted when he was in prison. So that means that he already know what that means. You know what I mean? I was there when he was getting made by a girl named